see how hard he was working and stuff like that. I think he's fighting bare knuckles now, BKFC maybe, some organization like that. So big shout out to that guy. Big fan. I didn't like stop watching them. I did fall off of watching like MMA for a couple of years and stuff like that. But you know, I came back to it. It was I went into like a dark period of my time. I do like to touch on like mental health for anybody, you know, man, woman, it doesn't matter. But you know, it is what it is. You go through those things, and if you're having a hard time letting go, you gotta try to share it. You know what I mean? There's plenty of ears out there willing to listen. You just gotta go out there, find them, make friends, and you know, offload there, or find a significant other who's willing to help you carry those burdens. You know what I mean? Because those burdens will never go away in your life, and you just gotta accept that, I suppose. And that's the hardest thing most of us human beings has in our lives, is accepting those. You know, it's a responsibility too. So that's why it's good to be mindful of your actions before you do it. And you know, you also, I mean, if that doesn't always define your whole life neither. So you know what I mean. You can always come back from that, those despairs and stuff too. You know, redeem yourself. It's, you know, it's a tough thing, and it's I think it's a lot to do with how you are mentally. You know what I mean? If you're in a bad mindset, you're not gonna ever think so. You're never gonna think yourself capable of doing those things sometimes, and it's tough. But you shouldn't think that way. You know what I mean? It's easier said than done, of course, 100%. But you gotta be mindful of that, and you know, keep it on your mind, and don't turn a blind eye to yourself. You know, don't excuse those behaviors, because in my experience of life, if you don't care, then nobody cares. Okay, so if you don't care enough about your own life, your own health, and stuff like that, nobody's gonna take care of that for you. You know, you got to do it. You got to figure it out. Ask questions. You know, I'm very grateful for a lot of people that have been a part of my life, because they were able to, you know, kind of give me a general idea and point me in that direction too. You know, just, and I have a very hard time asking questions to people. I always have, and stuff like that. But when I do, you know, I've been fortunate enough to come across people that cared even a little bit enough to give advice and share a little bit of insight. Maybe it's because they've been through those situations, you know, and they don't. Not always do you find people that are willing to go out of their way to help others in their journey of life, you know, and even share a couple words with them, or you know, stuff like that. And it's very important that you try to, you know, when you see those things happening. But if they're not taking it in at the same time, you don't have to feel obligated to keep doing that, because if they choose not to use those kind words and some of that information from your own experiences, and apply them to themselves, or seeing what they're doing, you shouldn't let that bother you that much, because you tried and you did all you can to help somebody else go along, and possibly go, you know, not avoid that. And they can either choose to do that or not, especially if they're adults. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's a little different when you're dealing with children or young adults, you know, that hasn't really experienced the real world yet, I suppose. And you know, having to go through that. So I mean, you can't force a kid neither. You can't beat them or some shit. I mean, you can beat them up, but unless you got like a big ass kid that'll just fucking choke slam you and shit, like, you know. But how likely is that, right? But you know, you try to treat them like little adults and help bring them up and try to avoid some of those hardships. But sometimes they don't go towards those ways. They don't listen. You know what I mean? And no matter what, your words fall on deaf ears sometimes, regardless of how much you try to help, how much you try to give advice, and how much you want to see them succeed, you know. And they might not correlate that message until, you know, years later. So um, don't don't feel like, you know, people just are trying to not listen to you at the time. Sometimes they just don't hear it, you know. It's like some people that have problems with alcohol or any other kind of drug. They might not see it at the time. They don't want to see it. They choose not to see it. And, you know, maybe they might be in the stages of starting to see it, but they, in the end, they have to see it, not be told that, because sometimes that even makes them want to push away and be, you know, whatever. I don't care, and not see those actions. So it's got to be kind of organic for them to come to those terms within themselves, you know. So if you're in that point now, take your time. You know what I mean? Make sure that you're doing it for yourself, but don't, when somebody gives you advice, even if they like come out harsh on you, maybe you should, you know, just keep it in the back of your mind. And I know the ego can be a bad thing, you know, a major factor for, you know, not listening or not taking those things into account. You know what I mean? I know I'm a very hard-headed person, and it took me a few times to, you know, going through some shit to realize, hey man, you gotta, even if you don't like to hear it, you gotta listen to it. And you know, that's all you gotta do. You gotta bite down on a bullet sometime and listen to your own bullshit and look at yourself. Look at yourself in a, you know, like out of your body. Like obviously it's impossible to do that, but you know what I mean? You see yourself in your mind and what you how you carried yourself even in that day of using or anything like that. So, and you know what? It isn't just drugs that people abuse neither. So, oh, we got Garcia versus Mahishate. I am terrible at names, so when I try to read them off, I do terrible. Mahishata. He is floating like a bee, though, man. Holy. You better watch out. That dude's winding up. Yeah, stay loose. Let him wear himself out trying to hold his guard up. Garcia's going to take him down. Mahishate, very good stand-up so far. I mean, but he can get softened up by Garcia. Those Brazilians usually he's Mexican. They hit like mules. So they're very hard workers, obviously. So. Oh, nice flying knee. Another flying knee. So you better watch out. He can throw a left hook and hit you out of the air. Like we seen that kid, Rosas Jr. He did a flying knee, went down and shot him for a double leg, and he got it in this previous UFC 282. It was beautiful, and it was a beautiful transition from a flying knee to that. He recognized that he might be countered, so he aborted in midair, was able to duck it, and because he knew he was being tracked, right? So he was able to duck it and essentially countered a punch for the takedown. So very beautiful. That's why I have high hopes for that young man. Obviously, it doesn't matter what the hell I feel like, because, you know, I'm just a spectator. I'm just somebody that likes to watch and stuff like that. I haven't been keeping up with like the Patty Pimblett stuff neither, but I don't know. It seems kind of raunchy. I side with Ariel Hawani on it, but you know, it is what it is. Ariel knows how to handle himself, and he did beautifully, and he torn some asses, man. But it is what it is, I suppose. But I think that's going to conclude this little video. But I'm going to go in. I'm going to switch. I'm going to go get the other camera that I can just hook up to this computer and do a recording on. And I'm going to go from there because this battery looks like it's dying. So I hope you guys do enjoy this a little bit. I'm going to try to upload it to my phone here as soon as I can. So hopefully the fights are still going. But if not, we'll see you guys then. If you like this, hit that like and subscribe button, please. I do appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good one.